guys, today we're going to learn how to make gumbo. This is one of my favorite things, especially when it's cold outside. So what I'm going to do first, you're going to want to go ahead and heat your pan up on medium heat, about medium, just so that the oil is hot but not like scalding or whatever. And what you'll first want to do is you'll actually want to get your aromatics going. So that's your onions, your carrots, your celery, or what we call the Mirepoix. So you'll go ahead and put your onions, your carrots, and your celery. And what you're going to actually do is you're going to sweat them as opposed to sauteing. And when you sweat things, you want to do it in a semi-cold pan, which is basically where the pan is already on the heat, but it's not like sizzling hot. As you can see, you don't hear a sizzle or anything, but the oil is warm. And you'll go ahead and start with your carrots, celery, and onions. I want to make sure y'all can see that there. You'll want to make sure you start with those. And all I'm really going to do is kind of give it a little stir, give it a little mixy mix so that it can all kind of be mixed together. And I'm going to go ahead and season this layer because you want to season as you go. That's a rule of thumb, at least for me. Season as you go, because then your food will have flavor in each layer. I just put a little bit of salt in there, just a little bit, because you're going to add more salt later. And then what I like to add to this, because it's like the vegetable part, I put a little bit of liquid smoke in there. That's about enough, about 2 teaspoons, because what is going to happen is this is going to take on the flavor with the vegetables. And then I'm using white pepper today, so I'm just going to put a little bit of white pepper in there. And you'll go ahead and mix this in just to get it started. And what you'll do here is you're going to let this actually sweat. So again, as I said, the pan is warm. Like you can, it's warm where you can touch it. So these are going to sweat for about 5 to 10 minutes. And that's just to get it to cook down a little bit, get all the juices out of it, get all the flavor out. That's actually what the salt is for. The salt actually draws the moisture out of the vegetables. So we're going to sweat this for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will come back with the next step, guys. Alrighty. Alright guys, so we're back. Next, you're going to actually add your jalapenos, your garlic, and your lemon juice. So I'm just going to put the jalapenos and garlic in. And you just put those in like that. That's your garlic and jalapenos there. And you're also going to add some lemon juice. What the lemon juice actually does is it helps to just bring out the flavors of the vegetables as well as the other ingredients. And I just use my hand to kind of squeeze the lemon so I can catch any seeds. Because see, if you see it, I don't know, can you see that? There's a seed in my hand there. There you go. Then you just mix this up. You're going to stir this in. And you're literally just going to cook this for about a minute just to get the garlic and stuff kind of cooked a little bit. Get some smell good, Garlic make the house smell good. I don't care what nobody say. It makes it smell good, okay? So you just put some, put some garlic in there, your jalapenos, and your lemon juice. And you just stir that around like that. And this is just your base right now. Now, the next thing that I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go ahead and put in my bullion cubes, which I like to put these in before I add the water and stuff because I like to kind of get that flavor in there. And what I do is I kind of crumble mine up because I'm using the Edward & Sons Garden bullion cubes, so I kind of crumble them up a little bit like that. And then I just stir that in so I can get that base in all the vegetables. These are the garden vegetable ones today. I used 2 of those. And I'm going to add liquid here in a minute, but you'll just cook this down a little bit, give it a couple stirs like that, just to get you some, stirage there. I'm going to just kind of... And then also, now what you're going to do is you're going to add the rest of your seasonings in. So this is garlic powder, going to add a little more white pepper. I'm going to put some sage in here. And guys, I'll try to put my recipe in the description box for you guys if you want to give it a try. You put some thyme in there. So I'm going to try to make sure that I'm going to put that down there for you guys. I'm using some paprika. I'm using smoked paprika. Smoked paprika. Y'all, I done got my P's and S's and stuff tongue-tied today. You can use regular paprika if that's what you got. That's just what I had. I used smoked. I'm going to put some rosemary in here. I love herbal stuff, so I love herbs and stuff, and I'm using dried rosemary, of course, because if you use fresh, you'll want to put that in at the very end, as fresh herbs don't hold up too well when you cook them for a long time, so you want to add it at the end. Now, I'm going to put some fennel seeds in here. This is going to give it some really good flavor, too. If you like, you can grind your fennel seeds. I leave mine whole, because I kind of like to crunch, honestly. Crunch is great. Then I'm going to add some celery seed in here too, which will give it some nice flavor as well. Some celery seed in there. And for last, I'm going to add some salt in here. That's enough salt. I try not to do too much salt, especially because I'm not a salt eater really, so I try not to put a lot of salt in my food. And you're just going to cook this base right here with the herbs and everything. Give it a nice cook. Give it a nice cook for a minute, you know. You just cook this for about a minute or so to get that going. Because you want to get, because look at that color on there. Look at that color you're getting now. That's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful, y'all? Beautiful color. The next step is actually... The next thing we're actually going to do is we're going to actually add the flour and the butter in here, which is going to be the roux. So what I'm going to do is kind of scrape the pan a little bit just to get a little bit of clean space here, kind of like that, just so I can get it started. You know, I'm going to scrape the pan, scrape the vegetables over to the side, so I can get, you know, a little spot so I can start making the roux right here. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your butter and your flour. It's equal parts, of course, butter and flour. And you just kind of want to mix this in. First, you want to start it just like this. And you don't have to add any seasoning or anything. You're literally just going to do the butter and the flour together. And you're going to kind of, you know, scrape it a little bit. And if it mixes in with the vegetables, that's perfectly fine, because that's where it's going to go anyway. So if your vegetables get in there, that's all right. That's perfectly fine. No problems there. But you want to kind of cook this down. I just like to start it on the dry side of the pan just because it helps me to be able to get the butter to melt a little bit. And y'all, I'm saying butter, but y'all know I'm using vegan butter, right? Okay. So, you know, y'all know it's vegan, so yeah. So you're going to get your roux, and it's going to kind of look like a mess, okay? It's going to look like a mushy, floury, bakey, kind of gooey, sticky mess, right? So as you can see, that's how mine is looking right now. But here's the beauty of it, right? Once we add our liquid and stuff, it'll thin out and everything will be nice and good. So you'll go ahead and mix your vegetables in to your roux, because that also helps to break it down too, because the juices, it'll soak up all the juices and stuff. Now you're going to cook this part about a couple of minutes, and while I'm cooking this, I'm literally just stirring it around a little bit, because you don't want this to burn and you don't want it to stick. So you want to keep it moving just a little bit, because if it sits too long, it can stick and burn at the bottom. And that is what we don't want, because burnt food is not good. Brown food is good, but burnt food is not good, okay? So you're going to just let this kind of sit, and look at how thick that is, y'all. Look at that thickness. Woo! Y'all see that? Do you see that, man? That look at that. Look at that. Just look at that. Just look at that. So you're gonna go ahead and let this cook a little bit, and as you can see, it's already starting to brown there. You see, if you look at the pan real good at the bottom, you can see the brown coming out, which is great. So that's wonderful, right? So you've got the roux, and I'm just going to leave that there. And while I leave that, we're going to get ready to add some more stuff, you guys. What do you think? So you can choose to use fresh tomatoes, diced tomatoes, canned tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, whatever kind of tomatoes you want. I'm actually going to use, what am I using? Crushed fire roasted tomatoes today. And you'll want to use about 15 ounces, so a little bit more than, a little bit less than 2 cups, honestly. Yeah, a little bit less than 2 cups. So I'm just going to use a little bit of tomatoes here, and I'm using, like I said, I'm using crushed tomatoes just because, I mean, that's what I had and could find or whatever, and you know, you can use whatever kind of tomatoes you want. So I'm just adding a little bit of tomatoes to this. Tomatoes are delicious. I love tomatoes, so yeah. So there are my tomatoes. And you'll go ahead and mix this in. And as you can see, that really nice and brown down there. Now it's starting to look real good, right? Now it's starting to look delicious. Oh, yeah. And it's going to be thick at the bottom. It's going to be thick for a minute there. And you just kind of let that mango. I know, y'all, it looks kind of gross right now, but I'm telling y'all, this is the bomb right here. Next, go ahead and you're gonna wanna go ahead and add your okra, your sausage, and your liquid. Okay, so I've got a frozen bag of okra. You can use fresh if you want. I'm just using frozen because it's convenient for me. You can use a whole bag, you can use a half a bag. I'm going to use a half of a bag of okra just because that's about how much I want to put in here. And because this is frozen, it's literally already, you know, kind of cooked and stuff because it's frozen, you know, but there is no seasoning. So because there is no actual seasoning in it, I'm going to just throw a little bit of salt on it, just a little bit like that, and we're going to go ahead and mix it in. Go ahead and mix that in. Okay, we just mix that in. And then I've got my sausage here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in as well. And y'all, you could put anything in here. I just chose to do sausage and tomatoes, carrots, and stuff like that because that's just what I like. But you can put whatever you want. I was going to actually put some vegan chicken in here, but I just went with sausage because that's what I had. And now the last part, yeah, because it's looking thick, right? It don't look like gumbo, right? It look like some stew, right? You're going to go ahead and put your water in. And ordinarily, you could use broth, right? You could use vegetable broth, which is technically what I'm doing because I put bullion in here. So the bullion is going to be the broth flavor. And now you're just going to stir this all up. It'll all kind of thin out and you'll stir everything in. Oh, y'all. It looks kind of, you know, it looks watery right now, but once it cooks and we let this simmer for a minute, it's going to be so good. So, this is your gumbo. It looks a little, if you want to, you guys, you can put some beans in here. As a matter of fact, I think I might actually grab me some pinto beans and throw them in here. And you can throw those in if you want to, or you can leave them out. You don't have to put the beans in it. I think I'm just going to leave it out actually, because I really just want the essence of the gumbo flavor, you know, with the okra and stuff. And I think, you guys, I don't think that's enough okra for me. Half a bag is not enough okra for me. So I'm going to throw the rest of the okra in, okay? Because, y'all, I love me some okra, okay? Love me some okra. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the rest of it in. But, you know, it's good for you, you know? Okra and tomatoes and peppers and onions and garlic and all the stuff that we put in here. I mean, except for maybe the sausage and stuff. it's really good for you. So you'll just want to, stir this around just to make sure. You want to make sure that there isn't anything stuck to the side or stuck to the bottom, as far as like floury bits and stuff like that. So that's what I'm actually doing, is kind of stirring around, making sure there ain't no bits in there at the bottom or anything. And now you're gonna let this baby simmer for about an hour. Okay, you're gonna let this simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. And what I am gonna do before we go to simmering, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with just a little bit more seasoning. So I'm gonna add a little more sage. I'm gonna add a little bit more thyme in there. I'm gonna add a little more paprika in there. I'm gonna throw some rosemary in there, just a little bit more, I'm gonna throw a little bit more pepper in there, like that. I'm gonna throw a little bit more garlic powder in here, like that, like that, like that. I'm gonna throw some more celery seed up in there, like this, like this, like this, like that, like that. Like that right there, like that. And I'm gonna throw just a little bit more fennel in there. I'm not gonna put any additional salt, just because I know that there's already quite a bit of salt. But yeah, so you just throw your extra seasoning in, right? And give it one final stir just to mix the seasonings in. Just to mix the seasonings in and everything like that. And you're gonna let this come to a boil. You're gonna let it come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you'll simmer it for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you guys, when it's done, I'll come back and show you the finished product. Alrighty, we'll be back. Alright guys, and we are back. So it's been 45 minutes and it's done. Y'all, look at that gumbo, y'all. Ooh. Oh, doesn't it look good, y'all? Tons of vegetables, good old sausage and all that okra and some tomatoes and peppers and oh yeah, look at that. So yeah guys, this is the gumbo. Like I said, I will try to remember to put the recipe in the description box for you guys. But y'all, this is gonna be dinner tonight for me, so yes, you guys. So like I say at the end of every video, vegan visionary, y'all. We out of here.